Have you ever been rescued at sea? That's what's happening to me right now. I can't see them, but my heroes are out there. It is day 6 of going from Portimao to the Canary Islands. On day 3, our engine died in the morning, so it's basically been almost 4 full days of no electricity, which means no chart plotter, no navigation. We occasionally turned our phones on to check our navigation, but wanted to save as much power as possible. And since we have no engine, we're getting a tow into the harbor. Isn't that nice? Welcome to Sailing for Sustainability, where I share our adventure and ideas on how to live in harmony with the sea and the earth. Leaving Portimao was really exciting. We waved goodbye to our friends and realized we were embarking on our first multi-day voyage, just the 2 of us. Someone once said that sailing is a bunch of 10s and 0s, and this trip was no exception. Barely out of sight of land, an orca came to our boat. Bam! Bam! The wheel spun violently in different directions, like a freaking cartoon. They were bumping the rudder really hard. And instinct just kicked in. I didn't know what else to do. I ran to the back of the boat and held my hand out to the water and just shouted, "Please don't damage my rudder. Please stop. I love you. I think you're beautiful and amazing, and I fight for the ocean. Please don't damage my rudder." To my surprise, they left. We weren't sure if we should go back or not, so I clipped into the helm, climbed out on the swim platform, and took a look at the rudder. Everything looked fine, and autopilot was still working, so we carried on. It just felt right for some reason. It is day 2 of sailing from Portimao to the Canaries, and our biggest sort of challenge at the moment is very low wind. But we're moving. It's certainly a lesson in trimming our sails. You can hear them flopping. Occasionally the wind dies completely. But yeah, we're moving. So we got this great app showing us where the wind is. So we're going a little bit off course to get more wind, which will eventually even out to get us to the Canaries faster. But yeah, it is a beautiful day. It is warm. It is like my first day sailing in shorts on the boat. Very excited about that. Yeah, I mean, all the sails are up. And yeah, beautiful day. Little did I know that the morning of day 3, our generator would die when we tried to power the batteries. We switched to the engine, and it also died. So we had some decisions to make, and basically had to turn off all of the power to save the batteries for when we needed to make a VHF call when we reached the harbor 4 days away. This made the trip really challenging. We had just our little handheld compass for navigation and occasionally turning on our phones to make sure that we were still on our passage plan and hitting our waypoints. Now, engine failure isn't the worst thing on a sailboat. It's got sails after all. We weren't adrift. But when the wind is especially low, it requires some precision steering to maintain it. And this was exhausting for 4 days and 3 nights. For me, the nights felt particularly long. We did 4-hour shifts, although we couldn't set an alarm with our phone when we were asleep. But luckily for us, there was a pretty rough sea state the first night, and it was hard to sleep anyway. Sometimes it was just more comfortable to accept being awake and steer the boat. We were constantly tired the first couple of days, and just purely problem solving. Brett tried to jerry-rig the generator to one of the spare fuel cans to no success, and I completely rethought our provisioning so that we wouldn't have to open the fridge. One day we got really lucky and managed to trim our sails just right. They were perfectly balanced, so the boat steered herself. And we got to relax for the first time in what felt like forever. And we started talking about things other than what to do in this mild emergency situation. And we recognized all of the luxuries that we've left behind from life on land. And it got me thinking a lot about sustainability, but in that way of like, what do we really need? Because a lot of the luxuries we have on land, they're not necessary, but we think they're necessary because we're so accustomed to them. Like the whole idea of having one of something in every home. Like every home needs its own garden and lawn and washer and dryer and dishwasher and stuff. And, it extends to one thing for every person, like one car, one laptop, one phone, and one other tech. And when you're on a boat, it's a very small space and we're sharing every inch of it. And, oftentimes the same space is serving multiple purposes. And it wasn't until recently that I heard about these great sort of community style apartments where you have a private room, but you share other living spaces like kitchens and game rooms, libraries. And I thought, what a beautiful way to use space efficiently and also create community, because then you're doing things together. And we realized that the biggest luxury for us was quality time, because it was the quality time we spent together that gave us the bond and the relationship to be able to handle this situation really well. But the sad thing is quality time shouldn't be a luxury, right? It should be what we get from a supportive community. Because isn't that the point of society? Like, to work less, to have more time for loved ones and, fun and just enjoying life? Like, isn't that why we've organized these complex societies? Surely it's not to work more. Anyway, it got me thinking about redefining the definition of luxury so that, folding laundry isn't a chore because you're doing it with friends and we're sharing a kitchen and cooking together because it's a pleasure. And all of this need for individualism really is time consuming. But with a community, you get to do things together and many hands make light work. And so your quality of life and your stress, it all improves. And anyway, I found myself feeling extremely grateful for Brett and for all the people in my life that have ever helped me along the way. And that definitely includes rescue services, who gave us a wonderful tow into the harbor. Very grateful for them. And when all is said and done, I'm very happy to say, when we were in Greece earning our ICCs from Raya, I just remember thinking, this is the life for me. I belong here. I belong to the sea. It felt like home. And I'm happier to report it still does.